Hello there, and welcome to Discourse Analysis for Language Teaching. This is session 4, and I'm browsing here the sessions, and this is session number 4. As you can see here, session number 4, it's all about discourse analysis and spoken language. So here you have some instructions related to your actions as participants of this class. So I advise you to read chapter 5 of McCarthy's book, Discourse Analysis for Language Teachers. Here you have the link to it. But anyway, if you go down to here, references, you have here the book, so you can download the PDF file and have access to chapter 4. Okay, here there are two presentations. This is the new version of this old version. Well, I like to say old version because it's just a Google presentation, which it's boring somehow, so I switched to a Canva presentation. So I'm taking some elements and I included new material, so it's better for you to understand the overall idea of this spoken language and discourse analysis. Okay, so if you click here to discourse analysis and spoken language, you'll be taken to this presentation, discourse analysis and spoken language. As you can see, it's colorful and it have a different font, so it's a different form of approaching a concept, which is sometimes could be boring. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so we have discourse analysis and language, spoken language, taken from McCarthy's book, chapter 5. So he's explaining there that when teaching a language inside a classroom, teachers should consider not just the vocabulary or the structures that come with textbooks, which is okay if you're teaching something, but sometimes we have to expose our learners to different forms of spoken language. Okay, so he starts by addressing these ideas, types of speech, and how much of each day or week we spend engaged in each one. So he's explaining here that common like everyday conversation is what we perform every day. So think of your actions when you are performing every day with someone in certain type of environment or communicative scenario. Breakfast, going to sleep, going to work, catching a bus to work, or doing everything that you do when interacting with people in everyday life. So here he presents some these scenarios: telephone calls, business and private services, classroom. Like he considered sometimes classroom as part of the routine of interacting with people. Just going to the classroom and studying your class and then switching to this formal register of conversation. You have rituals, and here you have other forms like monologues or interacting with someone using jokes or stories, or cooking, assembling, or demonstrating or explaining something. You have casual conversations with strangers, friends, or intimates, and organizing other type of actions using language. Okay, so as you can see, this set of slides, it's easy to read, easy to understand. It presents each of the ideas slowly and with examples. Nothing new or strange here. This first video, it's included for two reasons. First, as you know, my type of methodology and approach to to these issues, especially related to discourse analysis and everything related to languages in contact and sociolinguistic and social variables, I've chosen to use these. I've chosen this video because I consider it interesting to understand not only the language related element, which is coming from gang members and ex-gang members, all of them explaining their perspectives about this life of gangsters and being in gangs, but also because it's since we can approach worldviews like perspectives of lives, and we can read and we can understand their discourses and the way they think and understand the world within this idea of gang or being gang members. That's one reason. And the other one, of course, is that the language that they implement is not text language. I mean, is not the classic text language that you get when you're learning English. So you can approach understanding something from a different view angle, and you can develop your listening, your training. Okay, so it is interesting. So the idea is that you watch these videos, and next class you can ask me questions about this. And this video, it's part of a bigger set of videos known as middle ground, where the organizers of these videos, they arrange meetings with different perspectives. So you can have atheists, and you can have Christians, and you can have people from Israel, and you have people from Palestine, all of them discussing and standing right there in the middle ground. Middle ground meaning a safe space where they can have this conversation and create a contrast. They can contrast their beliefs and against one another, and come to, like, hopefully come to a common ground. So once you watch that, you can click here. After watching this, so pay attention, after watching the video related to gangs, you can answer these questions. So which forms of talk are most central and useful to investigate and practice with your group of learners? So obviously you have the textbook, so you can train your students to understand this variety of English, but you can expose them, as I said, to a different form of communication, and different speech communities being affected by different social variables. It's the case of these gang members that they represent and they materialized these social variables. Okay, so click here, and you will be watching this new screen here, like it says Juan Carlos Lemus te invitado a editar. So you click here, editar diseño, and you register. So follow these steps. You register using one of your Google accounts. So I'm gonna use mine, the one related to Unicolombo. So it's going to take me to the editing version of this exercise, which is basically brainstorming which forms of language should we investigate and practice with our students. So here you click here and take aside that. You can zoom in, and here you have the question. Which forms of talk are most central and useful to investigate? So you double tap and you add your new idea. So let's say idea X, and another person can add idea Y. So you can all create your set of ideas. If it is not enough, like all of you can, hopefully you will add your own thoughts on this brainstorm, you have another page right here. And if you complete all these post-its, like sticky notes, you have another page right here. You have 3 pages that you can all use to comment or add your thoughts about that, okay? So that's one exercise. Which forms of talk are most central? And you add your own ideas, okay? It's not necessarily related to academic language. You can consider that teaching your students implementing really informal communicative scenarios is something that it's valuable in order to train your students in different areas of the English learning process. Then we continue. So now we have here adjacency pairs. It refers to action and reaction. So it says the type of responses that we get as sender of messages. So we have some expected outcomes when we are interacting with people. Okay, it says there in terms of what is expected as a response and what certain responses presuppose. So this is a good example. So you have utterance function and expected response. So if you greet someone, it is expected that you will have a greeting back. Okay, so you say greetings, people greet. So congratulations, you are likely to get thanks for that. Apology, you have acceptance, and when you are informing, you're being acknowledged. So someone is acknowledging your the information that you are providing. Okay, so this is when it's clear conversation, like effective conversation. Okay, so it goes that way. So you say hello, you will get a hello back. And here, mutual dependence of such utterances is underlined by the fact that we can only be absolutely sure of the function of the initiating utterance when it is contextualized with the response it gets. Okay, so it means, once again, and it's funny to me because I've been mentioning the necessity of understanding the importance of the context. The context, it's something that we cannot take out of the equation when communicating, and you will see why. When you watch this funny video from the BBC Learning English, it is called "What People Really Mean." It's this example is related to questions and how sometimes questions are not questions; they mean something else. Like in this case, it's about a hat that it shouldn't be wearing because it doesn't match the outfit of that person. And the other one, it's asking, are you really wearing that hat? And that question is not really a question. It's some sort of a critique or an observation about something that he shouldn't be wearing. But since we are trying to be polite, so we use this form of communication. Like sometimes language it's intended for something else. In pragmatics, you have these 3 ideas, speech ads, and they consist of these 3 levels or layers. So on one hand, the first one, you have locutive, and then you have illocutive, and then you have perlocutive. In Spanish, it's locución, illocución, and perlocución. First one is when you send the message, illocutive. Then illocutive means the message that it's hidden in the structure, that travels with the structure. So when you say, are you really wearing that suit, or are those shoes for real? Are you going out with those shoes? And the tone of your voice indicates the observation that you're doing there. Like, are those shoes for real? Are you really going out with those shoes? Really? Really? Like the observation also comes with the tone of voice. And the prelocutive is a reaction that you get. If that person is connected with the context of the discussion, he will or she will probably get your point of view, okay? If it is, or if she isn't connected, probably she will understand, she won't understand, or he won't understand your questioning, okay? So watch that video and you will understand what I'm saying here. So we will continue here with adjacency pairs. So here, sometimes a hello will get a hello back, like an expected outcome, right? But sometimes you will not get that. So sometimes you get something else, okay? Like when you say congratulations, you get a second paired part that it's thanks, okay? So you can all have these, as I said, it is all well explained with examples and new audiovisual material. But sometimes these first part get other second parts. So you have sometimes equally a second paired part, such as thanks will presuppose a quite wide range of first parts. So offers. So when you say thanks, it's because someone offered you something, someone apologized to you, or someone informed you about something, or someone congratulated you on something, or gave you misconsiderations. Okay? So take a look at this example. A simple question: would you like to come over for a drink tomorrow? So you have three options. Yes, that would be nice, like accepting the fact, okay, the invitation. Or you accept with a condition, okay, a yes, but only if it is after 6, because that's when I get off, like I get out, or I'm return home, and that's when I can go to your little moment there and have a drink at your place. Or you can simply say no, a rejection, okay? So that's why it says in black, other first paired parts have various possibilities and generate further expectations too. So take, for example, invitations. Okay, here, types of adjacency pairs. Take a look at this. So sometimes the last answer related to note in some communicative scenarios require more than a simple no. So you have to explain or support you're not accepting the invitation. Okay, so thanks very much, but I'm afraid I'm booked. What about next week? In the same place, the same time. So you have to excuse. You have to, if you want a polite expected comeback outcome. Okay, so you get your invitation and you say, okay, I cannot, man, I'm busy, because I promised someone else that I would be doing something with that person. So you try to come up with an excuse, even if it is true or if it isn't. This is a really interesting video because it shows the opposite. Sometimes when we get asked on when we are invited some places, we tend to say yes but no at the same time, which so this is the opposite. That is person is a brutally honest. So she's explaining that she's not interested in going nowhere. So that's the name of the video, is If We Were Honest Making Plans. So watch it. It is interesting. So you have two guys that are that represent this model. Thanks very much, but it would be nice, but the third one, the girl Quinta, that's her name. She's the brutally honest person that says straight out no, and she doesn't explain why. The reason is no. So it is interesting, and that is a new video that I searched for you in order to explain these spoken rules when interacting with people. Okay. Then we have McCarthy explain here something when it comes to teaching English to learners. So this idea of native versus non-native speakers, and the way native speakers approach language when communicating, that it's a complete different perspective from the English that we are taught when we are learners, that it's really explained by McCarthy. It's described as blunt, like too square. It is like almost like it is not real when communicating. So that's why I'm providing this TED talk. This Armenian teacher that is explaining the native speaker fallacy. I find it interesting, some ideas that he's explaining, but at the same time you have to take your own stand and visualize and assimilate the content of this lecture carefully, okay? Because sometimes it sounds like he's having his own personal revenge towards a group of people. But interestingly enough, he's explaining the idea of having a native language, and how native languages are defined by Cambridge dictionaries and other dictionaries that he's taking as references when explaining this idea of the native speaker. Okay, so this is the content that we have here, and after watching these tech talk about this native speaker fallacy, you have a lighter video that it's what you could expect from a person that is moving away from the text structure, where we are taught like, hello Marthy, or hello Cynthia, how are you doing, or how are things going, and he's explaining like native speakers sometimes go the other way or circle those structures of language that are contained in texts. And finally, I have this question for you. So once you have witnessed the possibilities real speakers have, and when it's the question says real possibilities, is throughout all the videos that you have watched, and natural interaction environments, I want you to answer this question. What do you think about approaching language learning processes through dialogue performances as textbooks indicate? So you click here and you come to this event and you provide your short answer. What do you think? Sorry, I have to adapt the question right here. What do you think? This is the question. What do you think about approaching language learning processes through dialogue performances as textbooks indicate? Again, That is the material that we have when we are learning English. And you all went through it, all these dialogues. Think about the teacher in the classroom and in selecting 2 or 3 students to perform that dialogue. And sometimes it's like square. We don't have much room to act or to improvise, because basically we are learning and we are uh, part of this determined scenario created by the text and also supported by the teacher. Okay, so hopefully this material and this creation and adaptation of the material already organized but renewed in this presentation will help you understand the chapter where McCarthy is explaining the necessity of rethinking the teaching of language, especially spoken language, in our learners, and also considering that by analyzing natural data, the role of teachers is more that a person that is in the classroom teaching, but also a critical observer of reality. And he or she, it depends on the teacher, he's a person that is willing to take natural data from the world and including that data inside the classroom, so he or she can expose learners to different type of language that is being affected by social variables. As take for example the video related to gang members, how certain social structures are affecting the way they understand the world, and obviously this form of understanding the world is materialized in the way they approach language. Okay, so I hope this is going to be a useful tool for you to not fall behind and to continue moving with me in this process of understanding discourse and as a tool for language teaching. Okay, so I'm gonna say goodbye, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message. And that's it. Goodbye, and I hope you have a great day.